to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit, a show dedicated to helping you find enrichment for the other 23 hours of your day outside of the gym. Here's your hosts, Jason, Dave, and Corian.
Good morning, boys and girls. We are back with another episode of Anchored at Harbor Park, episode 42. I'm Coach Jason.
I'm Coach Dave.
Coach Corian.
And today, we're going to talk about our newest evolution of the Harbor Park CrossFit programming, which we're quite excited about. But before, we're going to do an icebreaker. Do any of us have an icebreaker? I think that's... We're going to think of one really quick.
Well, first of all, I guess mine is kind of a two-part icebreaker, I guess you could say. Has anybody taken me up on my daily intentions? Anybody doing that?
I do a daily focus.
Oh, that works. It's kind of the same. So, what's your daily focus?
Consistency.
Got it.
And it's, more like a theme, not just like, I could do a different one every day, but right now that's the major theme in my life is consistency. So I'm going to be consistent in choosing that as my daily focus or intention.
I don't have a daily intention. I do a daily routine, though. Like I have something I do every day. And that would be, I wake up at the same time every day. And then first thing I do is, this cough over here. First thing I do is set up a Ramwad. So I do Ramwad in the morning now because it kind of centers me, I feel like. And then after that, I'll do meditation. Then I eat.
Somehow my alarm was not set for today, and with as dark as it is, I was awake, and I was, am I up early? Dave gets up earlier than me. I was really confused this morning. So my daily intention for today is productive. It's Monday. I want to get the week started off right. I have emails, and we have meetings today. I have consults, which I don't normally do on Mondays, so I'm kind of excited about that. So mine's just about being productive, making sure that I'm moving, I'm not goofing around or spending unnecessary time doing things that don't need my attention today.
Very good.
Love it.
Shall we talk about programming?
We shall.
I love talking about
this. Is exciting. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to see how this goes.
So, like I said, newest evolution of our program. It's not a super huge change. Everything's going to look pretty much the same. We're basically just going to kind of tweak our Thursdays, which have, adjusted in the past. They started off as just a recovery day where you could kind of come in and do your own thing, or, you could work on weaknesses or make up a workout or just active recovery. And then we turn those into flow sessions, which are still good. Nothing wrong with those. But one thing we discovered is that we want more skill-based work. When you're in the middle of a class and we're trying to pack a whole bunch of things in and potentially multiple movements, we don't have a lot of time to really break down movement. We might, spend 5 minutes on a snatch or, on the pull-up, but we can't really get nitty-gritty into the details.
And some days are different than others. Some days we do get to spend that time, but maybe it is, something that you're not interested in yet and you want work on some other things, or the thing that you missed that day or something. So going forward, starting this week, which will be, what's today, the 14th, the 17th? I think January 17th. Thursdays will be skill-based or progression-based days, okay? So this Thursday is going to be row progressions. We learned a bunch of awesome ones when, what was his name, Mike?
Mm-hmm. Mike Bailey.
Mike Bailey was in town in December. So we'll start implementing those. And then it will progress, and we'll do some gymnastics progressions and some weightlifting ones, and more than what you're used to seeing just in class. So you might see more advanced things for pull-ups, more technical barbell things, depending whatever the focus is for that day. And it might be multiple week progressions. So something excited we think will really help those of you guys who might have plateaued at a certain level on these movements or aren't seeing the progress you want. So yeah, we're excited for this.
I think one of the biggest things to note is I think a lot of people are confused on Thursdays and maybe even Sundays. Like, we still have class times. It's still instructor-led as long as it says a WOD. There's open gym, and then there's class time. So it's not like we're just going to post it on the board and you're coming in here and kind of figuring these things out and moving at your own pace. We're going to be there. We're going to be helping you, giving you some tips and tricks and stuff for those progressions. What is our area of focus? Where should you be feeling it? Maybe you can tell your coach, like, this is some of the things I'm able to do. I'm able to do, this many strict pull-ups, or I'm able to get halfway up on my strict pull-up, and they can kind of help guide you on maybe some of the things that you should be working on.
The thing that I'm most excited about is so, like, Coach Nate is really good at progressions. He knows gymnastics very well, and Olympic weightlifting. So I think that him doing this programming is really going to help people, and it's not going to be like so boring. So, like, I guess, like, when we do a pull-up warm-up, we have, sometimes we have 5 minutes to get you warmed up. So we just go through a quick warm-up, so we're activating some muscles. But actually having a day where we're going to spend on progressions, maybe we'll focus on all pull-up for the day, or maybe we're going to incorporate a bunch of different skill movements that are going to translate into better gymnastics all-around movements, things that we can't always incorporate into everyday classes. And then, like you said, with the gymnastics, or the weightlifting aspect of it, doing things, that would mimic more of like a barbell club style, like building the posterior chain. Maybe we'll do some glute ham raises, or we're going to do some hamstring development, and then glute development, and then snatch pulls, clean pulls. So like if it's a day where we're snatching or we're working on the snatch technique, you may not necessarily snatch, so you may never put a bar over your head, but all the movements that we're going to be doing is going to be drilling it. And I think it's cool because we're not getting away from Thursdays being technically like a rest day, because we've already just decided like we're probably not going to be one rep maxing those days, and it's still going to be low intensity because we want you to recover as well.
I think one of the biggest things, I've learned since working with Nate is, and I want maybe more people to understand, is like moves can, just because you can do a move doesn't mean it can't be better. I really work on, my kipping pull-ups and being tight through the core and be more efficient in them so I'm not as tired, and I can do more of them. And I think that one of the biggest things about this Thursday and this new style is, you can pick, ideally, if you want to go for a harder progression and work forward, or perfect where you're currently at. And I think that's a big thing that people overlook. Sometimes I kind of step back and try to perfect where I'm currently at and the abilities I'm doing before I go to that harder scale, or that harder level, because doing a kipping pull-up at 80 or 90% efficiency and then trying to move on to butterfly pull-ups or bar muscle-ups is not going to be as efficient. Your kipping and your butterflies definitely carry over into those other things, and if you can make them really, really spot on, a bar muscle-up's going to be easier.
I think Dave hit the nail on the head by saying we're still keeping the intent of a rest day, so think of these days more as like practice days. And we've talked a lot about the difference between practice and training and practice and competition. So when we're thinking practice, we're thinking low heart rate, low intensity. You might not even break a sweat on these days, but you're going to practice and you're really going to focus on doing techniques right. Lightweight, less than 50%, so the bar will feel light. We're going to go through range of motions at a very light weight, focusing on the neurological aspect, so building the muscle memory in. So then when we do see it in a workout, it'll be a lot easier.
Right. Building that mind-body connection, right? So we're reprogramming our mind from always going fast and where technique breaks down. So we're bringing it down, the intensity down, practicing in a controlled environment at lighter weight, because then when that weight comes, or when we say 3, 2, 1, go, and the timer's going, that weight's you're gonna have so much practice under your belt. It's gonna be, I think this is really gonna help people into getting better movements, maybe getting that first movement, it's gonna translate. So I think like a lot of the mistake that everybody always makes is like, I really want to PR my snatch, so I'm gonna snatch every day and I'm gonna just try really, really heavy. Well, honestly, you have to practice at low weights, and perfect that hip drive and that pull and all that, and there's 3 pulls in the snatch, and you got to practice all of them. And if you're quad dominant, or you're swinging the bar out, all those things matter.
I will highly, highly, highly suggest too. It's great to have a coach by you and giving you that feedback. But so many of us are visual learners, and there's something to be said about videotaping yourself. Guys, we don't have to post it on all the socials just because you videotape yourself. It's totally fine. But if you can get in those classes, set up your camera, videotape yourself, or ask a coach to videotape you so that while they're describing some of the things that you're doing, you can look back and you're going to be able to connect, like, okay, that's what I was feeling or that's what I was doing at that point. This is, where he's trying to tell me to change. But if I don't have anything for you to look at and I'm like, oh, by the way, right before you extend, you dip your chest and then, swing through it. The words are there, but if we can't connect it visually, sometimes we can't fix it. So Thursdays, Sundays, or whenever you're practicing, guys, set up those phones. Videotape yourself.
If you're wondering why, all of our coaches have very, very smooth and fluid-looking snatches and pull-ups and muscle-ups, it's not because all the coaches are just natural at those movements. It's because we spent a lot of time and years doing them, deliberately focusing on low-intensity technique. So, we've put hours in just snatching an empty barbell, and that's why when we do it with weight, it looks the same.
Yep.
Because we've practiced for so much. Which we get when, you can only come 3 times a week or whatever, and you're only here for an hour. It's hard to get that repetition in. So that's why we're hoping this Thursdays will be really beneficial for you to get a little bit more time practicing with lightweight.
Yeah, and for those who don't have as much time, and that 1 hour and those Thursdays are important, we got to make the most of it. So coming in here and doing reps that are ingraining maybe some bad movement patterns aren't going to be our best option for long term. So to make the most out of it, you really need to, like Dave and Jason are saying, scale that back, maybe have a coach give you some feedback, videotape yourself, really kind of find it's the simplest things. I'm sure you guys have heard Blair talk about, just little minute details, like moving his hands in, moving his hands out, breathing at a different point in the rep, or, focusing on a different muscle being tense, or, any of those things.
Yeah, so I guess the way the Thursdays would look, Jason kind of already explained that. But we had some comments already about it. Some people had questions, think how it would look. So it's going to be, if you come in for class, we're expecting you to do class. So this will be what class is. And then obviously if you want to make up a WOD that you missed, because you're like, hey, I've missed Monday and Tuesday, and I really need to work out today, the intention will be, okay, we would like you to warm up with class, so we'll do a warm-up together maybe as a group warm-up, and then you can go to the open gym side of the gym and make up that missed workout, and then class will be instructor-led through the skills portion of it. So the coach is actually going to be teaching these movements, watching you, helping you, giving you feedback, and then obviously if you're doing the open gym, understand that the coach has to pay attention to the people who are in for class, and you're kind of using it as open gym, but you can ask questions.
So yeah, I don't think newer people really even realize that was an option. But yeah, on Thursdays we used to let people make up workouts, and then when we started doing the flow sessions, we kind of got away from that. But some of the older members got accustomed to that, so we still let them do it. So yeah, going forward, coaches are going to run Thursday class, assuming everyone is doing the class. Like Dave said, if you're going to make up a workout, that's fine, but you're going to be basically an open gym then.
It's just like any other day of the week where, class takes precedent. And then if there's space and equipment, feel free to do some extra stuff or do what you need to do.
And then Sundays, we're not changing the format of Sundays. It's still going to be rest day, kind of open gym format, make up your WOD. So that would be a perfect day too. You missed the Thursday skill session, come in and work on it.
Yeah, you can do it
part of
again.
the track. You'll be able to see it in Sugar WOD.
And the nice thing about the Thursday, when you're doing whether it's pull-ups or gymnastics or using a barbell, since we're going light and we're not going very intense, even if you're super sore, your shoulders are pretty beat up, if we're doing those movements and promoting blood flow to the shoulders at a low intensity, that's going to help you recover as well. So it's kind of a dual bonus there, where you're going to get the active recovery as well as the technique.
I agree. Lastly, I guess what we could talk about is why we decided to go make this change. And some of you guys may know, but we have a group of ambassadors, a group of people who we trust, who have been with us for a while, who kind of represent the gym, I guess, so to speak. And we are in constant communication with them. And if you're a brand new member, you probably have had one of these members reach out to you and talk to you prior to joining or right when you started, and maybe even attended a workout with you. But the ambassadors kind of are our eyes and ears to the community and what's going on. And then we use them to communicate out to you guys. So some of those members, we just kind of brought a question to them, and then they brought back some feedback. And through that feedback, we came up with this idea.
I think ultimately, we're always trying to improve, and we realize nothing here is perfect. So we realize this is an opportunity to give you guys a better service and product. So.
And I think, too, things are always changing, growing, and developing. So just being able to stay a part of that and realizing that, the community has changed and things in the atmosphere of fitness and everything like that change. And so we're just kind of going with it.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this evolution. So
I think we'll get more people in on Thursdays.
I think especially because gymnastics is what everybody wants to work on, but it's the hardest thing to work on. So
yeah, well, because you don't know what to do, right?
It's so just, you're like, so many
I want that muscle up.
Things.
Yeah, and they don't. So they're practicing the muscle up, and they, like I said before, or the snatch, right? You're just practicing maybe bad reps, and you're not perfecting, all the other nuances of that movement, because there's so many little things that you could do, even like Turkish get-ups or like glute ham raises. Like you don't realize that, oh my gosh, that's going to translate to better gymnastics or better weightlifting. It's a lot of stuff that is forgotten.
Yep.
So I think we discussed Thursdays.
Yep, we're excited.
I'm excited for this Thursday with rowing because that's a big weakness of mine. I believe in on being short, so.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on episode 42. Stay classy, Harbor Park.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit. If you would like further information about our programs, visit www.harborparkcrossfit.com. We hope you'll tune in next time.